ॐ आप्यायन्तु ममाङ्गानि वाक्प्राणश्चक्षुश्रोत्रमथो बलमिन्द्रियाणि च सर्वाणि सर्वं ब्रह्म उपनिषदं माहं ब्रह्म निराकुर्याम् मा ब्रह्म निराकरोत् अनिराकरणमस्त्वनिराकरणं मे अस्तु तदात्मनि निरतेय उपनिषत्सु धर्माः ते मयि सन्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. In this 12th class on Kena-Upanishad with vākya-bhāshya, we are going to see the fifth and the last mantra of the second khanda. And this fifth mantra does not dwell on the nature of the truth, nature of the supreme reality, knowing which we get liberated. Instead, this mantra urges us, this mantra goads us to recognize the urgency of transformation. The house is on fire, and a man sitting inside the house says, "Let me listen to the second part of a song I am listening to on radio." And his family, his wife says, "This house is on fire, get out of the house first." If he says, "Yeah, I will do, but let me first complete my listening to this song," isn't it very silly? Likewise, saints and sages, illumined people say to us, you have to get down to this primary goal of life. Your main business is to find out who you are. Do not continue even for a minute indulging in your egoism, strengthening it, reinforcing it, and acting as the ego, acting as the limited individual. You invite countless forms of sorrow and once in a while a little joy. But you live in fear, you live in insecurity, you live in regret. You often wonder, where did I go wrong? How can I get better? How do I improve myself? While the truth is, this I, which is supposed to have made mistake, this I, which is supposed to improve, is a myth. The true I in you is changeless. When a visitor stayed 10 days in Ramanashrama and on the last day saluted Maharshi Ramana and said, I will take leave of you, Swami. Maharshi noticed that that visitor's face was a little pale. Maharshi asked, is something bothering you? Are you a bit sad? And the visitor said, no, I am very happy at the 10 days that I spent here, but I am sad to realize that I have not changed. Though I stayed 10 days at this ashram, a serene place of spiritual vibrations, I have not changed. And Maharshi, with a mischievous smile, says to him, you never change. That is like adding insult to injury. He is so sad, he is not changing. And Maharshi says, you'd never change. Luckily for him, there were a couple of learned people nearby. They took him to a corner and said, you are very blessed. When Maharshi says, you never change, the reference is to your true nature. Realize your true nature, then you say, then you will yourself experience your changeless, indestructible nature. But presently, You are so obsessed with your personality. You are so attached to the limited I. You are caught in the play of the mind. The mind is describing you in 1,000 ways, and you are caught in those descriptions. They explained to him what Maharshi said from the higher point of view. Maharshi looked at this man not as a man. Maharshi looked at this man as pure self. And therefore, what Maharshi said was a blessing, was a great truth, and that went into the records. And today, people derive inspiration from that anecdote. So, here the call from the rishis of the Kena-Upanishad is for all of us to not postpone self inquiry. Ask yourself again and again, who am I? What is the true purpose of my life? Have I settled for some other purposes which are so illusory, which are so limited in their scope? To build a bigger house, to buy some more property, make some more money, to become popular, to defeat somebody in an election, to make it to Rajya Sabha or Lok Sabha or the Senate or the Congress or some house, upper house, lower house. You and I are endlessly chasing some desire, some ambition, but the Upanishads say you actually don't need anything to be happy. Realize who you truly are. In the light of this, we shall see now the first of 5 slides where we have given the mantra followed by selections. Here, no selections since the Bhashya by Bhagavan Shankaracharya is quite brief. We have actually presented Shankaracharya's Bhashya on this fifth mantra in a couple of slides with English translation. Let's see the title slide now, where the mantra proper is given. The fifth mantra of the second khanda, that is second section of this Kena-Upanishad. On this mantra, Adi Shankaracharya has written something in Padabhashya, but we are seeing what Sri Shankaracharya wrote. In the second commentary he wrote, that is called vākya-bhāshya. The mantra says, Iha ched atha satyamasti न चेद इह अवेदीत महति विनष्टिः भूतेषु भूतेषु विचित्य धीराः प्रेत्यास्माल्लोकात् प्रेत्य अस्मात् लोकात् अमृता भवन्ति. The first half is a clarion call to all of us. If in this life, in this precious life, if you can know the supreme truth, your own true nature, then life is sarthaka. Ata satyamasti means then there is true fulfillment. Do anything else, reach anywhere, sit on any chair, any simhasana, go to moon 3 times and come back. Do whatever which is all admired, adored, praised in this materialistic world. You will not solve the fundamental problem in your life. Therefore, iha ched avedit. If we were to know in this life itself, before we breathe our last, all the scriptures emphasize our true goal is self-realization. Alas, the overwhelming majority of humanity forgets their true goal and are all the time chasing some other goal, something else. It is just a mirage. They are not going after water, imagining it to be water. They are going after a mirage, which is actually a optic illusion. If one has realized here, then there is truth. What is implied is there is then fulfillment of life. Life has become meaningful in the highest sense. If one has not realized here, the translation goes, then there is great destruction. The word used is mahati vinashtihi, great destruction. That is nothing other than whole life has gone a waste. We did not. Somebody went to do engineering, a boy. 4 years he was at that town. His father, his mother sent money month after month for all his expenses, for paying the fees at the college and any other. At the end of it, he comes home and says, "Oh, it was wonderful to be in that town where the college was located. But did you get your degree? Did you pass all your examinations?" He says, "No, I did not complete my B.Tech or BE." Then the parents say, "We sent you to that town and we sent all financial support for what?" And if he gives a list of number of movies he saw in the theaters of that town, the restaurants that he had visited, and how many Facebook pages he filled and he got like. Nowadays, to get a like, maximum number of likes on the Facebook account, I believe, is a great achievement. He gives a long list of all sorts of things. But the purpose for which he went to that town, leaving his home, leaving his parents and siblings behind, was to do engineering. There he did not go far at all. Mahati vinashti. That example, in a big way, falls short of the seriousness of the present topic, realizing the self. Because if somebody doesn't complete engineering, who knows? He may get into some other field and do better. He may take law or he may do some business in his hometown, and not only he may become happy, there is a good possibility he may make a lot of people happy in the town. So, engineering or medicine or chartered accountancy or doing law, or there's a long list of what you and I aspire for. They are okay for an example, fine. But in taken seriously, none of them is so valuable as we imagine. But knowing the pure self is something where you have no choice. Sri Shankaracharya is going to explain in his commentary what happens if we do not know the self. Somebody says arrogantly, "You people calling yourself spiritual have strayed from real life. You are in your own imagined world. What does happen? What do we lose if you don't realize itself? I don't believe in God. I don't believe in Brahman. I don't believe in Atman. I believe in being good and doing good." Some people say this. They have no understanding of what spirituality is. They just hide behind some catchy phrases. Being good and doing good. As though being good and doing good is easy, like a cakewalk. In order that somebody really is good and does good, nothing less than self knowledge is necessary. Only when you have the clearest understanding of your own completeness, your own being the witnessing consciousness, you are not being the body or mind, then can you truly be good. Otherwise, you try, you show off, but at a critical moment, at a testing moment, the selfishness in you will rise with all force. And rather than being good or doing good, you will be bad and you will do harm to people around you for your own pleasure, your own gratification. Being good and doing good is a goody goody statement. It will never be possible unless you have a higher vision. And the highest vision will make you spontaneously good and help you do spontaneously good things. Let's read quickly the second part of the translation also. Bhuteshu Bhuteshu Vichitya Dhiraha is the Sanskrit. The wise ones having realized Brahman in all beings. Bhuteshu Bhuteshu. Vichitya therefore means having realized and having turned away from this world. Asmat lokat pretyam. Elsewhere, pretya means having died and moved on in the transmigratory cycle. But here a deeper meaning is pretya, prayanam kritva. What does it mean? Having turned away from this world. Though they are in the world, they are not of the world. In the world, but not of the world, is what is meant by lokat pretya. Asmat lokat pretya. Amrita bhavanti. They become immortal. And the pen of Sri Shankaracharya now puts down such words which are so inspiring. We go to the second slide in which we see Shankara's wonderful, simple, but at the same time very touching explanation. We go to the second slide now. Yes. So, iha chedavedi iti, Shankara writes in such a simple way. Avashya kartavyata ukti. Uktihi. Iha ched avedit is to indicate uktihi. It is a statement, ukti. It is a saying which highlights avashya kartavyata. You may say goodbye to engineering or medicine. You may say goodbye to politics or sports. You may say goodbye to any activity, any enterprise, any engagement in life. But here you cannot say, if you say, I don't want self realization, you don't know what is self realization. It's like somebody saying, well, I think I have breathed enough. I don't want to breathe anymore. Foolish fellow. Without breathing, how will you continue to exist? And nobody can say, I don't want to exist. Though emotionally one may make a silly statement, but everybody wants to live and to be happy is not a choice. Though people die, people are unhappy. Avashya kartavyata ukti. In no other matter there is avashya kartavyata. You have a choice. Do it or don't do it. But self realization is a must for all of us. And though some only recognize that that desire is in them, many people say, because they don't have clarity. No, 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 I don't think I want God or I want self realization. They neither know what is God nor know what is self realization. Adi Shankara adds, Viparyaye, if somebody neglects and does not go for self realization, Vinasha Shrutehe. Mahati Vinashtihi is Vinasha Shruti. It says you have ruined your life. You have allowed your life to go to waste. The English translation says, if here he knows. This mantra is to emphasize that knowing Atma is what must be done. Avashya kartavyata. And to not know Atma is a great calamity. Great calamity. It's like there is a popular saying, if wealth is lost, nothing is lost. If health is lost, something is lost. If character is lost, everything is lost. On the plane of dharma, that statement is a very valuable and valid statement. If you don't have right character, if not immediately in a due course of time, you find your wealth won't help you. Your even good health, physical health won't give you peace of mind. Your popularity will not bless you with peace of mind because you have lived an immoral, unethical life. Therefore, character is most important, says the Dharma Shastra statement. But in Moksha Shastra, unless you know who you are, it is great destruction, a great calamity. Shankara adds, Iha Manushya Janmani Sati Avashyam Atma Veditavyaha. In this human life, Manushya Janmani Sati, there being human life with us, Avashyam Veditavyaha. Atma has to be known. Iti etad vidhiyate. Therefore, this is an injunction. This is an instruction. This means, for heaven's sake, go to good teachers and know the self. Prapya varan nibodhata. It is enjoined here that iha, here, in this human birth, Atma should be known. Adi Shankaracharya raises a question, Katham, why is it a waste if one doesn't know? And why is it a fulfillment if one knows the Atma? Iha chedavedit viditavan ata satyam. Satyam is paramartha tattvam asti. Satyam asti actually means, Shankaracharya adds a useful word, though the word asti is said, which means it is. What is meant is it is obtained. You got what was most important, what is most valuable. Avaptam. Satyam avaptam. You got Satyam. Whereas otherwise you lost everything. Those who realize truth, tasya janma safalam iti abhipraya. Safalam, truly successful, truly fulfilled. Chet, the English translation again, Chet, Sanskrit word means if. If here itself avedit, it is known, what happens? Ata satyam asti. Then the ultimate reality is attained. In other words, her or his life is fulfilled. We go to the next slide now, and there Sri Shankaracharya picks up the next part. Nached iha avedit. Suppose any of us achieve a lot of things. We are awarded Nobel Prize, Bharata Ratna, and Oscar, Grammy, whatever you call, gold medal in Olympics. We got everything, but we did not know who we are. Shankara says, Vritha eva janma. Vritha eva. Your life has gone a waste. Anandamayima, the born saint of Bengal, used to say in the Bhakti language, Hari Katha hi Katha, Baki sab Vritha Vyatha. When you fix your mind in Lord Hari and talk about Hari, that is worth calling talk. All other talk, though it may impress foolish worldly people, foolish materialistic people, it is all vyatha, cause of sorrow. Vritha vyatha, unnecessarily. You need not have got into all that talk. You may know physics and chemistry, economics and biology. You may know neuroscience and you may know 21 languages. You may have gone to 21 countries and see how things are over there. But alas, all that is a waste. So in this way, in this Upanishad class, we are explaining how the Upanishad mantra says, not knowing the pure self is such a waste. As Shankara's Bhashya says here, if it is not known here in this life, then this life is meaningless. Life has gone a waste. Mahati vinashtihi, that is feminine grammatically. Mahan vinashaha. More often we know the word nasha or vinasha. Vinashti is a relatively less known word. But if you bring it, which is a correct word, then the adjective also has to follow the noun in case, number, and gender. That means Pratama Vibhakti, first case, Number is singular and gender feminine. So you can't say Mahan Vinashti, Mahati Vinashti. Janma Marana Prabandha Vicheda Prapti Lakshana. Oh, I split it wrongly. Janma Marana Prabandha Avicheda Prapti Lakshana. What is called a great loss, a terrible loss, is described by Sri Shankaracharya. What is the big loss here? Avicheda. Vicheda means cut. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam. Bhajagovindam says, Punarapi janani jatare shayanam, iha sansare bahudustare, kripaya apare, pahi murare. What's this endless going on and on and on? Though we have eaten 10,000 laddus in our life, again we say, if I get one laddu now, how nice it will be. Pursuit of pleasure, pursuit of comfort, pursuit of pride, pursuit of respectability. Do they end? Life to life. Therefore, it is said Janma, Marana, Prabandha. That is the arrangement. Tasmat Prabandhat, Avicheda. Avicheda means you never cut that sequence. When you cut that sequence, that is called moksha. You are not born again. The infinite reality in you does not again become finite. Avicheda prapti lakshanaha syat sansaraha syat yataha tasmad avashyam tad vichedaya jneyaha atma. Why should we know the pure self? We say because you don't know that whole philosophy, you don't know what we are talking about. You think that who needs to know the self? Life can go on without it. Life can go on with lots of disappointment and frustration and sorrow and anger and all those negative qualities. Whereas, if you know the pure self, that so called endless suffering ends, gets cut. Sri Krishna says in the Gita, Asanga Shastrena Dridhena Chitva. Take the weapon, take the sword of Asanga, non attachment, detachment, and cut this tree. They are the analogies of tree. Urdhumula madashakam ashwattam prahuravyayam chandansi yasya parnani yastam veda savedavit. 15th chapter of Gita. Here it is without an analogy that continuous born, gets old, dies, born, childhood, youth, marriage, children, old age, death, again born. Oh, tad vichedaya, to cut. In 1981, I attended a class by Brahmachari Paramartha Chaitanya. Today he is known as Swami Paramarthananda. Some youngster in the class, I too was sitting there, asked him the question, this Janma leading to Marana, Marana leading to Janma, that is like a circle. And the circle has no end. How do you get moksha? And Paramarthanandaji said with a smile on his face, you are right. Karma and karma phala, and karma phala again making you do more karma. That karma again creating more karma phala is a circle. There's no end. There was a blackboard. Swami Paramarthanandaji wrote a circle on the blackboard. Then, to the pleasant surprise of all of us young girls and boys sitting in the class, 1981, 42 years ago, he took a duster and just erased that circle. He said, you cannot end the cycle of karma and karma phala, but see what I did? I erased the circle. You can transcend, he said. Moksha is about transcending. The translation here says, and it is a mahati vinashti, massive calamity. will attain an unbroken cycle of the bondage of birth and death. Because of this, it is a must to know Atma. Unless we know the pure self, we will be in the prabandha, in the arrangement of unbroken cycle of birth and death. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam. Now, in the next slide, we see tasmadavashyam. Yes. This is the Sanskrit part of the Bhashya. Then there's one more slide giving us the English translation. So the second part of the mantra says, Bhuteshu Bhuteshu Vichitya Dhiraha Pretyasma Lokad Amrita Bhavanti. So it said Bhuteshu Bhuteshu means Chara Achareshu, Sarveshu. The Jnani, Shankara introduces the matter, Jnanena Kim Syat. If you know the self, that by not by that knowledge, what will it give you? What will happen? Oh dear, when you have that knowledge, you will see in every living being, in every stone, in every tree, the highest truth. Chara achareshu. Amongst all moving and unmoving things. Vichitya here means vicharya, inquiring. First, it appears that he is an independent existence. I am an independent existence. Cats, dogs, etc. are independent existences. But in this liberating knowledge, you know that all these are not independent. They are all one. And scratch the surface. The cats and dogs, rivers and trees, Tom, Dick and Harry, all of us, and I, all of us are actually one Satchit. Pratak Nishkrishya Ekam Atmatattvam Sansara Dharmaihi Asprishtam, untouched by the characteristics of this worldly life. Atma Bhavena Upalabhya. The Jnani attains this with a sense of I am this Brahma. Aneka Artatvat Dhatunam. Some other place, Vichitya can mean some other thing. Shankara says here, no. Here Vichitya means the Vicharya. Na punaschitva iti sambhavati. Virodhat. In the next slide, we give the English translation of another meaning possible, but that doesn't apply here. Dhiraha dhimantaha vivekinaha vinivritta bahya vishaya abhilasha. The hallmark of somebody who is poised for realization is he or she does not fall for abhilasha. May I have this pleasure? May I go and see that place? May I wear that wonderful dress? May I? So you and I have desires. In spite of a lot of Vedanta knowledge also, we openly or secretly entertain some desires. Some desires in this world of time and space. But those who are all set for transcending the cycle of karma and karma phala are vinivritta bahya vishaya abhilasha. It's a description of those people. Those people in whom desire for bahya vishaya are gone. Pretya mritva asma loka shariradi anatma lakshanat. So the loka is not so much the vast world around us. This body and mind are our world. We are caught in it. Whatever we experience is through this body and mind. When we are out of this world, out of this body and mind, in our understanding, it's not about some OB, out of body experience. Here in Vedanta, you understand you are not the body. Vyavritta mamatva ahankara. The compassionate Bhashyakara gives some more words for us to get it. When there is no mamatva, this is mine, others should not touch it. And there is no ahankara, vyavritta ahankara, santaha. Being so, amritaha bhavanti. Amarana dharmanaha. They don't die, they become immortal. Nitya Vijnana Amritatva Swabhava Eva Bhavanti. They are every moment, any time, they are Amrita, Nitya Amrita Swabhava. The last slide gives the translation of this part of Shankaracharya's Bhashya. Vichitya Dhiraha means the discriminating people whose external desires have been extinguished. They separate out. That's the meaning of Vichitya. Vicharya, Vivekam Kritva. They separate out and distinguish the one reality which is the self, which is untouched by any of the qualities of samsara, worldly existence, as one's own self. They realize, they behold this truth, so to say, as their own truth, their own self. They understand that ultimate reality. Verbal roots have many meanings. Dhatunam bahu arthaha, bahavaha arthaha sambhavanti. Verbal roots have many meanings. The meaning having separated out is not possible here as it is contradictory. Rather than separating out, going here, going there, etc., it is be where you are, but do vichara, do viveka. And through that viveka, through that discernment, you know that you are not this personality. You don't have to run away somewhere. And they were explaining the word pretya, Baba Shakara says, having died, asma loka, from all which is not the self. Dying is not in the usual sense, but it is saying goodbye to our attachment. They negate myness and I-ness and amruta bhavanti. They become immortals. That is the nature of the eternal, undying spirit. In this way, this is in a sense a very simple mantra, but mind you, regular reading of the such mantras and the Upanishad Bhashya by a Bhashyakara can keep you in, in vision. You are in view of this truth. You may have read 10 times more, but last few days your mind is not going to that at all. You are thinking about 100 other things of life, your own life or the life of somebody somewhere. Your mind has become extroverted. Therefore, daily spend at least 10 minutes. 10 minutes read one or two mantras and two or three lines which you might have underlined or marked during your study or classes. The mantras of Upanishads and the Shankara's explanations will bring you back to a higher vision. Therefore, Vivekananda once roared, "Go back to the Upanishads, the shining things, and leave all these meaning worldly engagements, which finally don't leave anything in your hand. Hands are left empty. Derive strength from the Upanishads," he said. Thus, you and I are studying such stuff which, upon gaining greater clarity, are not at all mere words or mere bookish knowledge. They can position us, they can place us in a state of fearlessness, in a state of natural happiness, not caused by any external object. Namah Paramarashibhyo, Namah Paramarashibhyaha.